Good evening, good evening, good evening from the Channel 9 studio. This is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33. And we definitely had a lot, excuse me, of excitement tonight as the NFL wrapped up this divisional round. And we will start right then and there from Chicago as the Chicago Bears hosted the Los Angeles Rams. And you can't ask for a better game than this. With the Rams had the 17-10 lead. It was the last play for the Bears with about 20 some odd seconds to go. Caleb Williams took the snap, ran back. He was surrounded by three Rams. Ran about 20 yards back, threw the ball up. The tight end caught it. Got the game touchdown, the tying touchdown. They kicked the extra point. They went to overtime. But in overtime, the Rams did what they needed to do, get the ball back and kick the extra field goal in overtime. And the Rams defeat the Chicago Bears 20-17. Uh, you can't ask for a better game. Chicago did everything they tried their best to pull out another miracle, but sometimes experience can come into play and defeat the young kid, and that's what Matthew Stafford did. He did just enough tonight, going for 20 or 42 for 258 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But Kyron Williams backed him up with 21 carries for 87 yards with the two touchdowns. Uh, Puka Nakua led all receivers with five receptions, but him and Kobe Parkinson had 56 receiving yards. Uh, Puka Nakua caught five passes, was targeted 10 times. Devontae Adams was targeted six times, only got two catches. But at the end, it was the catch by Devontae Adams on the sideline that gave him the first down and moved the ball close enough to get them in the field goal range. Of course, they did a couple other things, but that catch put them in a situation to win. For Caleb Williams, he was 23 of 42, 257 yards, two touchdowns, three interceptions. The third one cost him in overtime. Uh, but we'll discuss that in a minute. DeAndre Swift had 76 rushing yards and 19 carries. Uh, he led the team with that. DJ Moore had five catches, but Colston Loveland had 56 receiving yards uh, to lead the team. Um, this is just about the maintaining of the football. As you can see, they had Caleb had three turnovers. Uh, what you call it didn't have any. Um, Stafford didn't have any turnovers, and like I said, that turnover in overtime, many people probably would say that was a punt, but in all, you know, it was enough to keep those guys to get the ball back to Matthew Stafford, and he drove down the field, got the field goal, and now they are advancing to the NFC Championship to play a familiar foe, but they're the number one seed in the Seattle Seahawks. That game will be Sunday at what time? 6:30. No, I'm lying. I think that's the 3 o'clock game. It'll be a 3 o'clock game. Um, yeah, but some like I said, the experience of Matthew Stafford is what kept them cool and composed, even in overtime when they got the three and out. They stayed composed. Uh, as I said, Caleb got the ball, tried to get the ball downfield. Now, some people want to say that DJ Moore gave up on the route. Others are going to say that he overthrew him. The fact of the matter is, the safety caught the ball and got the interception. And like I said, they systematically went down the field uh, and got that field goal. So, congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams uh, with key receptions to Puka Nakua as well in that overtime drive. Like I said, it was just enough to get by. Now, I said this score would be 21-17. Uh, but at the end of the day, the fact is, it took overtime for these guys to get the win. But the cardiac bears, you can't listen. There's a lot to look forward to. They got a lot, they got a lot of upside. Realist, what's going on with you? They got a lot of upside. You know, this was Ben Johnson's first year. He did an outstanding job to get Caleb Williams into the picture that he's in, the divisional round. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people had them being in the divisional round, let alone winning their division, right? And they definitely nobody thought this game was going. Well, we probably thought this game was going to be tough, but when he threw that touchdown pass, it was like all signs. Okay, they got the momentum. They're going to take over in overtime and find a way to win, but that's not what happened. McVay decided to let those wide receivers get the ball. I believe if Puka Nakua does not win Offensive Player of the Year this year, it will probably be Jackson Smith and Jigma. But when you got Puka Nakua, who led the league with 129 catches and yards and all of those and all of that, you have to say, you know what, we got to find a way to give him the ball. He did do an outstanding job on run plays, throwing blocks on the outside for Kyron Williams and Corum, who played a little bit tonight. But his job is to catch that ball, and you put him in certain positions to catch that ball. He came through. So big win for them, and they are heading to the NFC Championship. You can't, like I said, it was a bad game because Caleb had 3 interceptions, but he tried to redeem himself at the end, but it wasn't enough as the Rams uh they get the victory, and like I said, they advance to the NFC Championship. In the AFC, we had a game today, and that game consisted of the number 2 seed New England Patriots versus the Texans. And this was about the Patriots and their defense. As they get to win 28-16, we're going to slide down. You can see CJ Stroud stats. He was 20 of 47, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. He didn't have no help in the running game as Woody Marks led the team with 17 rushing yards on 14 carries. But Jaden Higgins led the team with 6 receptions and 59 yards. But only Christian Kirk got a touchdown for them. Yeah. And the rest was field goals, 4 field goals. On the New England side, you got Drake May, who was just 16 of 27, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Uh, Ramondre, Ramondre Stevenson led them with 70 rushing yards on 16 carries. And Stephon Diggs led them with 4 catches. But Keyshawn Butte had 75 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. A touchdown pass to Butte, Diggs, and Demario Douglas is what got them to advance to the AFC Championship where they'll be playing the Broncos. Um, this was a turnover filled game, but shout out to the Texans defense, right? You see Drake May had 4 fumbles. He lost 2. Uh, you know, it was a lot. It was a lot going on that defensive line for the Texans, as Will Anderson caused a lot of havoc in this game today. He was in that backfield. He was making Drake May work. He earned every bit of what he had got paid today. You know, if you really sit there and look at it, right? I don't normally do the defensive side, but you see, you probably don't even see it, right? Will Anderson, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, quarterback hits, right? You see all of that. Daniil Hunter had 2 sacks. So the defense was in the backfield. But the fact of the matter is CJ Stroud had a lot of turnovers. Just that's just being nice and saying that. Woody Marks lost a fumble. Uh, that's five. That's 5 turnovers. You cannot play championship football and turn the ball over 5 times. And that's just the real. That's just the real. You can't expect to overcome 5 turnovers. It's not too many teams that could do that. And plus, he didn't have his top receiver, Rico Collins. Rico Collins or Nico Collins? Excuse me, Nico. He didn't have Nico Collins today. So even with all that and the conditions and the snow and all of that, because if you saw the beginning of the game, the ball was fluttering, going all over the place, and it meant absolutely nothing. As he was trying to get the ball down the field, nothing was happening. Strips and turnovers and all of these things, forced fumbles. It compelled him to, you know, have a long day, and that's exactly what happened to C.J. Stroud. He had a very, very long day. Couple injuries during the game. Key linemen and players going out, so it was really all on him. The pressure was on him anyway, because every year they get to the divisional round. They're 0-6 on the road. He trying to figure out how could he get to the AFC Championship. But today wasn't his time. It really wasn't. So, he struggled. That's being nice. He struggled. But it's something that they have to go in there and build his confidence. Like, yo, we can do this. We gotta take our time. We can't start, late in the season and all of that. But, they had a good season all in all. Right? They was in no position to be in the playoffs in the beginning of the year. They worked their way to the 5 seed. They upset a division winner, and they just lost to the number 2 seed, who was just absolutely better than them today. So you tip your hat to the Texans for a great season. You tip your hat to the defense. They did everything possible to keep them in this game, but it was to no avail. You know, you get tired with 5 turnovers. You got to turn it as soon as you get the ball. You turn it over. You got to go back out there. You don't get the rest that you need to. And like I said, they had 5 sacks. There was probably more pressures beyond that. But you can't keep turning the ball over and expect the defense to hold you down. The offense got to pull his weight. Drake May did just enough to help his defense get to the AFC Championship because they played pretty good football. 5 turnovers, like I said. You ain't got to throw the ball 300 yards. You just got to make sure you don't do enough to cause the ball to turn the ball over. You got to do enough not to give them extra opportunities. And Drake May did just that. Will this game be something to write home about? Probably not. But the fact of the matter is, he did enough to win this game. He did more than enough. Like I said, 16 of 27. He threw the ball 27 times. They had just about 105 yards rushing. That matters. That really matters. Time of possession. Where's the time of possession at? Let's see. Time of possession. The Patriots. They did enough to keep the ball away from you know off those turnovers. Like I said, they had 4 fumbles. Like I said, the turnovers they was what was they plus 4. So you need defense to win championships. And the fact is, the Patriots did enough to capitalize on those turnovers. So with this win, they advanced to the AFC Championship to play the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos will be without Drake May, who in his game yesterday, he broke his ankle uh, in the second to last play against the Buffalo Bills, which was something, you know, it didn't look like that in live play. The only reason why we know is because Sean Payton came out after the game and said, "Hey, he hurt himself. He broke his ankle. He's going to be out for the rest of the season." Obviously, he broke his ankle, and we don't know what his timetable going to be. So Jarrett Stidham is going to take his place in the AFC Championship. Now, for those of you that don't know who Jarrett Stidham is, Jarrett Stidham was a New England Patriot. So, did he get a championship with the Patriots? I don't recall. Maybe so. I'm not sure. I know he played with the Patriots. Maybe I don't know if he's been there that long. 2018, maybe I don't know. But he was the backup quarterback. I know he played with Tom Brady, so he was the backup quarterback. But that's who's going to play quarterback for the Denver Broncos after they won their game in overtime, 33-30. Uh, so yeah, as you can see, the AFC Championship going to be at 3 o'clock. The 1 and 2 seed, the Broncos host the Patriots, and the 6:30 NFC Championship is going to be uh, the 1 seed Seahawks and the 5 seed Rams. So it's a lot going on in the NFL. Congratulations to Kevin Stefanski as he was named head coach of the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. I don't know what the deal is, but he's coming into a good team. He got one of the best running backs in Bijan Robinson. He got a premier wide receiver in Drake London. He got an underutilized tight end in Kyle Pitts. Now his question is he has to figure out who's going to start at quarterback. Will it be Michael Penix? Will it be Kirk Cousins? And he gonna have to fix that defense a little bit. Even though the back end is pretty good as far as their safeties, they got to get a pass rush. The linebackers is decent, but they don't if they don't get that pass rush up to par, you're not really gonna hear about their defensive backs. Jesse Bates is a decent safety. He be in the mix. He be in the mix of interceptions and caused fumbles. My 33 brother, what up though? So Stefanski gonna have to go ahead and go to work early. Will that be a good hire? We'll wait to see. Also, congratulations to John Harbaugh as he signed his contract Saturday as well to be the head coach of the New York Giants. Now we know the New York Giants. They are super excited because Harbaugh is going to coach Jackson Dart. Uh, he got a pretty good front line on the defensive line, but he got to wait for Malik Neighbors to come back. He got to wait for Cam Scatterbull to come back. He got to fix that linebacker core. He got to fix the back end of that defense. So his work is going to be a lot. Will he be able to? Will he do a quick turnaround? I don't think so because I know Malik Neighbors went out early in the season, but he got to get himself in football shape to even you know be the Malik Neighbors of 2 years ago. And Scatterbull, I don't know if he coming back middle of the season or not because he broke his leg. So I don't know if he's coming back, but it's going to take them they have to have the adjustment time. And because those guys won't be in spring training or spring mini camps and things like that, it's going to be hard for them to see what's going on as far as their ability to play under John Harbaugh. Is he bringing the offensive coordinator from Baltimore, or it's just a lot of question marks. I don't expect them. They may win some more games, uh, and they have a lottery pick this year, right? They're in the top 10, so we'll see what they do with that draft pick, and then we can analyze going forward. Uh, there hasn't been any other coaching openings now. We know that the 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Salah was supposed to be meeting with some teams like the Cardinals and things like that. Now that his team is out the playoffs with their loss Saturday to the Seahawks, you know he'll be being interviewed, and there's still 7 openings to figure out who's going to go where. We just know of 2 that was just filled out today. So it's a lot. Like I said, the coaching carousel may go on. It will go on. We got to figure out who's doing what. Who knows? Maybe somebody from the college championship game might get hired because that game is Monday, and they saying that the Indiana coach may be interested in that spot. Yeah, that was a tough game. That was a tough game, right? Uh, you saw it was 10-10 for the most part. Stafford got the team up by 7. Last play, the last play. Hey, Caleb Williams, man, let me tell you something. Can't nobody say that talent ain't there. Can't nobody say that he can. He's not going. It's impossible for him to be a top tier quarterback. He may not be top 5, but he can be in the top tier, maybe top 10 quarterbacks, right? Even with the bad game he had today, he came and showed out. He said, "You know what? I had a bad 4 quarters, but this play right here, I'm gonna make something out of nothing." He did it. He lofted up, and they came down with that touchdown. So there's nothing really to be dissatisfied about with Caleb Williams. He There has to be a vote of confidence going into next season for Caleb Williams. There has to be a vote of confidence going into that Chicago Bear team as a whole. So, I just felt that the AFC West was the best division all season. Um, so I'm not surprised about the results. I'm not surprised that the Bears actually didn't pull this out. I said the Bears was going to score 17 points, and that's exactly what they did. And then I said if they win, they would have to do a comeback and score in the end. They almost did that. They just scored 17. So it's just something about I don't know. It's just something about the composure of Matthew Stafford. Even when you hear the interview at the end, listen, we got to get the ball back. We got number 9. He is that guy. Um, it's uh, he's that guy. So they had enough confidence in him to say, you know what, we're going to take care of this, and that's exactly what happened. So big win for them. Um, it's it's like I said, it was a good game. As far as like I said yesterday, I don't know what happened to the 49ers. The 49ers, they just flattened out. They started the game with the kick. Shaheed scored on the first play, and they never looked back ever since. But it's always something about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, he doesn't. I don't think he brings the best out of his guys. Right? You had Christian McCaffrey looking all crazy, trying to be the running back, the wide receiver. This is like a few years ago. Remember when Purdy went out and Christian McCaffrey had to play the quarterback? That's what it looked like yesterday. Same type of thing. Even though Brock Purdy didn't get injured or anything, it just looked crazy. And Seattle did whatever they wanted to do. So now we have that matchup: the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams, and that's going to be a toss up. To be quite honest with you, right? So we got a whole week to think about that. We're gonna have that discussion later. Uh, and oh yeah, we just spoke about Bo Nix going out and things of that nature. So the Patriots look like everything is working in their favor, but you still got to play the game. So it's something different. So congratulations to all the one. Excuse me, all the winners today and in this round. So the schedule going to look like this: Broncos will be Broncos hosting the Patriots at 3 o'clock. Excuse me, and the Seahawks will be hosting the Rams at 6:30. And then after that, you got the Super Bowl 2 weeks down the line. Now we are 3 weeks away from the Super Bowl, but just remember we how far this season came. This season flew to me. I can remember when it first started, and the Eagles was getting their rings, and everybody was super excited and all of that. Now we are at conference championship games, and it's just crazy how fast this season flew by. So let's just go to the we're gonna go to the NBA scores and like day in the NBA. We'll start from left to right, bottom to the top. In Houston, the Rockets host the Pelicans. The Rockets get the 119 to 110 victory. Uh, with the win, the Rockets go to 25-15. Pelicans go to 10-35 with the loss. In Memphis, the Grizzlies host the Magic, and the Grizzlies get a 126 to 109 victory. With the victory, the Grizzlies go to 18-23. The Magic go to 23-19 with the loss. In Denver, the Nuggets host the Charlotte Hornets, and the Charlotte Hornets get the victory 110-87. Uh, the Hornets go to 16-27 with the win. The Nuggets go to 29-14. In Chicago, the Bulls host the Brooklyn Nets. The Bulls get the victory 124 to 102. With the win, Chicago goes to 20-22. With the loss, Brooklyn goes to 12-28. In Los Angeles, the Lakers host the Raptors, and the Lakers get a 110-93 victory. With the win, the Lakers go to 24-16. With the loss, the Raptors go to 25-18. And in Sacramento, the Kings host the Portland Trailblazers, and Portland gets a 117-110 victory. With the win, Portland pulls to 500 with a 22-22 record, and the Kings, with the loss, go to 12-31. So those are all the scores today from the NBA. That's all the scores from the NBA. Now tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, well Monday Raw on Netflix, they will be in Ireland. So Raw will be on at 3 p.m. on Netflix. But of course, like I tell you guys, if you guys want to go back and see it or whatever the case may be, I'll hold off on talking about uh, the matches until tomorrow. We know Finn Balor is going to be fighting Punk. Wait, is that day? Yeah, Finn Balor is going to fight Punk, and Becky Lynch is going to defend her title against Maxine Dupree. So and there'll probably be some more matches to that tomorrow. But like I said, that starts at 3 p.m. But I'll hold off to talking about that and at the regular time. Probably talk about the college national championship game between Indiana versus the University of Miami, which which will be at home for Miami. Now, my mind is telling me that Miami's going to lose. My mind is telling me Miami's going to win. My, my heart is telling me that Indiana's going to go undefeated. So I don't know who's going to do what. I'm gonna go with my heart and say that the Hoosiers go undefeated because that'll be the bigger news. Because if Miami wins, it'll be history for Cristobal because that's the head coach of the University of Miami. He'll be one of the few players that played at Miami and won as a player and then win as a coach. So that's something that'll be unique. But I just think that they got the Heisman Trophy winner Mendoza. They've been rough shotting a lot of people, but I think the game will be, and I don't think it will be a blowout. Most of us think that anything over 10 points is a blowout. It might be around the it might be around like 10 to 14 points, which will make it a blowout. But I think it'll be I think it'll be a little bit closer than what people seen with the Hoosiers. So, but we'll find all of that out tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow, and we'll also talk about some NBA scores and highlights. It's a big day in the NBA as they celebrate Martin Luther King Day, so there'll be a few matinee games tomorrow. Matter of fact, let's just go down to the schedule. Uh, let's just look at the schedule tomorrow. In Atlanta, the Hawks will host the Bucks. In Cleveland, the Cavs will host the Oklahoma City Thunder. In DC, the Wizards will host the Clippers. In New York, the Knicks will host the Mavericks. In San Antonio, the Spurs host Utah at 5 p.m. In Philly, the Sixers host the Pacers 7:30. Brooklyn will host the Suns at 8. Detroit will be hosting Boston, which will probably be a good game. A lot of these games could be seen. Well, Boston will be seen on national TV. Uh, and the final game of the day will be Golden State hosting the Heat. But if I'm not mistaken, let me look at this again. Atlanta game will be on Peacock. After them will be the Cavaliers versus Thunder on Peacock. The Knicks and Mavericks will be on Peacock. And Detroit and Boston will be on Peacock or NBC. So those are the few games. One, two. Those are the four games that'll be on. I think it's only four games. Yeah, those will be the four games that'll be on tomorrow. Like I said, between the NBA and the national championship, my TV gonna be all over the place, trying to keep up with tabs and scores and things like that. Um, yeah, so it wasn't really that much to talk about today. Like I said, we got the scores, we got the victories, we seen the defeats. We spoke about the coaching hirings of the past 24 hours. Like I said, congratulations to Stefanski. Congratulations to Harbaugh. I ain't counting that man's pocket. He got a 5-year deal. Congratulations. Um, you know, and that's just about it. Going forward, like I said, Friday as the season is winding down, we're gonna start talking a little bit more about the NBA. I'm gonna have to start doing the stats like after each score we go to their stats and things like that to show you what's going on as far as who's producing on those teams that's winning and who's not losing, or well the losers and their stats and things like that. We're running out of football, so we're gonna have to make the adjustment to basketball. I was that like I said after February and after the All Star game, we'll probably start doing a little bit more NBA games. But I got to check with the channel 9 the channel 9 group to see what slots is going to be available as far as what time we could do these games or not. Um, or what days. Probably some days in the middle of the week. Maybe maybe a Sunday night game. Probably. I don't. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have to really sit back and think about it. But I know a lot of people like the NBA in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I really have to, excuse me, sit back and think about that going forward. But we got our wrestling segments still in effect, Mondays and Fridays. Uh, Main event coming up Saturday, and then after this upcoming Saturday, the 31st, the last Saturday of the month, you got the Rumble. Uh, we get ready to see how they get ready to do that. Also, they added a match to Saturday night's main event. My understanding is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. Just a match, nothing serious. They gotta get their little squabble off their chest, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I heard Cody Rhodes tell him, Jacob, I got receipts. Jacob ain't trying to hear what he talking about. They gonna put hands on each other Saturday. That's the third match that was added to the main Saturday night's main event. But like I said, that'll be next Saturday on Peacock. Uh, I think it's at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But I'll get all that information to you tomorrow after Raw, because they may add another match from Raw, because that's two SmackDown matches. Right? Yeah, because the Fatal Four Way match is going to be Saturday night's main event, and that's for a chance to fight Drew McIntyre at the Rumble, and then they just added Cody and Jacob. So we'll probably wait and see what they do, and we'll probably hear some more people announce their name on for the Royal Rumble. We saw Cody Rhodes do that last Friday or this past Friday. So we're gonna wait and see who's gonna make the announcements. I have no idea who's gonna make it. I'm pretty sure some of these young guys, uh, Javon Evans and Leon Slater and uh, Trick and them, they'll probably be a part of the 30-man roster. But like I said, only Cody made the announcement so far. So we just don't know who's doing what. But we're just gonna figure out who does that going forward. But I'm running out of things to say. To be honest with you, we went over the scores, highlights. As always, the scores that was presented to you, and from the NFL and the NBA is brought to you by the 9%. Where a better you is a better us. With that being said, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33. I will be back in 23 hours to have the conversation on Monday. We will see who's going to be the newly crowned college football champions, and any news and information. We will have that conversation tomorrow as well. So with that being said, this is Mr. 33 signing out. I'll see you guys in 23 hours.